Today, we're diving into a story, a real comeback kid of the wine world. We're talking about a grape that was once the toast of Burgundy, then pretty much forgotten, and is now making a spectacular return. Let's talk Aligoté.
Okay, let's be honest. When I say white Burgundy, what's the first word that pops into your head? Chardonnay, right? Of course, it's the king. But what if I told you there's another grape, kind of like Burgundy's best-kept secret, that's staging a quiet rebellion? Let's get into it.
So let's introduce our main character, Aligoté. For a long time, it's been living in the shadow of its super famous sibling, Chardonnay. But here's the thing. It wasn't always the underdog, not at all. In fact, its story is woven right into the fabric of Burgundy.
No, seriously, before Chardonnay became this global superstar, Aligoté was the white grape of Burgundy. I mean, it was everywhere. People loved it for its zippy freshness and versatility. So what on earth happened?
Well, you know how it goes. Tastes change. The 20th century rolls around, the whole world's palate shifts, and suddenly, Aligoté just wasn't the in thing anymore. It kind of got left behind. This timeline, it really lays it all out, doesn't it? You can see its ancient roots, that golden age in the 19th century when it was on top, and then bam, the big drop in the 20th century when everyone started craving a totally different style of wine. But look at that last part, a remarkable renaissance. That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, so this chart really gets to the heart of why it happened. Think of it like a personality clash. Chardonnay was the rich, buttery, oaky one, the life of the party for a while. Aligoté, it was the complete opposite. Super high energy, vibrant, all citrus and minerality. For a long time, that just wasn't what people wanted. But, and this is the best part, that exact same personality is why everyone's falling back in love with it now.
And this, right here, is the turning point. This is the comeback chapter. A whole new generation of winemakers came along, and they looked at Aligoté, and they didn't see an old, forgotten grape. They saw pure, untapped potential. They saw the true soul of Burgundy.
What they figured out was that its crazy high acidity and, its clean character, it made it like a perfect microphone for the land. It could pick up all the tiny differences in the soil and the weather and just broadcast them right into the glass. This was a grape that could tell you exactly where it came from.
Now, a comeback like this doesn't just happen. It was built piece by piece. First, you get the Bouzeron AOC. I mean, think about that. An entire village dedicated only to Aligoté. That's a massive statement. Then you've got the broader regional classification, which helps guarantee quality. On top of that, you have us, the drinkers, suddenly getting really interested in wines that taste like a specific place. And the final piece, the big-name producers, people like de Villaine and Laflave, started championing it. And that gave it instant street cred.
All right, so that's the backstory. Pretty cool, right? But what does it actually taste like? What's all the fuss about? Let's pour a glass, metaphorically, and find out.
You're going to hear this word a lot with Aligoté, terroir. It's that kind of magical idea that everything, the soil, the sun, the rain, ends up in your glass. And honestly, very few grapes are as good at being a pure reflection of their home as Aligoté is.
And check this out. This is so cool. You can literally taste the ground it grew in. If it's from limestone soils, you get this zinging, almost flinty minerality. If it's from clay limestone, it gets a bit more complex, a little more structure. And marl soils, that's where you get a rounder body and more fruitiness. It's like a direct line from the dirt to the drink.
And get this, it's not a one-trick pony. Not at all. The classic style. Yeah, that's made in stainless steel to keep it super crisp and fresh. But that high acidity, it's perfect for making sparkling wine, Crémant de Bourgogne, and some really cool forward-thinking producers are even making orange wines with it, using skin contact to build up texture. How versatile is that?
So what does all this mean for your dinner table? It means it's an amazing food wine. If you've got a young, zippy one, you have to try it with oysters or seafood. It's just perfect. Got the sparkling version? Break it out with some appetizers or cheese. And if you happen to find one of those richer, more serious styles, oh yeah, that's your roasted chicken one right there. It's this chameleon-like quality that's so important. Because after all those years in the wilderness, Aligoté isn't just having a moment. It feels like it's perfectly built for where wine is headed next.
Isn't it funny how things work out? The very qualities that got it kicked out of the cool kids club, that high acidity, the fact that it wasn't a big buttery Chardonnay, are now its superpowers. We as drinkers want freshness. We want wines that work with food. We want authenticity, and Aligoté is checking all of those boxes.
And it's not just a Burgundy story anymore. The secret's out. Of course, Burgundy is its heartland, but people are making really exciting Aligoté in places like Moldova and Ukraine. And it's even popping up in the States, in cooler spots like Oregon and parts of California. The movement is going global.
So, when you boil it all down, the story of Aligoté is really a story of rediscovery. It's such a great reminder that trends fade, but authenticity, that's forever. It has totally shaken off that label of being the other white grape. It's a true star now, standing on its own.
So here's my challenge to you. The next time you're at a wine shop or a restaurant, be adventurous. Look past the usual suspects and ask for an Aligoté. Because when you do, you're not just getting a glass of wine. You're tasting history, you're tasting a place, and you're tasting one of the best comeback stories wine has to offer. How can you not raise a glass to that?